The great weather front that arrived in episode 11 brought with it exactly what deer hunters hope for each season. With the wind switch finally in the forecast, Mike Reed heads to one of his favorite stands on the river farm.
Good morning. It's the morning of November 6th. Sunday, we got a beautiful sunrise. And Ryan are in the pinch down at the River Bottom Farm. It's about 46 degrees. We've got a southwest wind that's going to be switching to northwest by about lunchtime. And we've already had quite a bit of activity. We had a few bucks cruise under the tree stand before camera light, and then we've had a couple young bucks chasing does around. I didn't have a good spot to go and hunt Kelsey where he's been hanging out the last week or so. And I do think I can get back in that area that we saw him last night for this afternoon's hunt. And so I didn't want to go stink up the area or mess it up. And we've really been waiting for the right wind to come hunt the pinch anyway. So it's fun to be back in this set. It's one of my most favorite sets on the whole property. And we've had southeast winds for a long time, and it just doesn't work for this spot. So jumped at the opportunity to come here. We'll give that south side of the farm a break. It's not unreasonable to think Kelsey could work his way here. I mean, if he decides to pick up and go for a cruise, I mean, he's been in this area quite a few times. And just mid-October, he was coming through here quite a bit, so we certainly could see him here. The other buck that I'm keeping my eye out for is this buck we called DK in the past. In the last couple of days, we've had a few pictures. What do we have? Spot for her to stop to pee. Got interrupted there for a second by those two younger bucks. One of those does this morning squatted and peed right here at 25 yards, and both of those bucks came and checked that spot. So that's I think that's pretty favorable. If a buck's working through here and they catch that, they can work their way in and check that spot. As I was saying, there's another buck I'd really love to lay eyes on. It's the buck we've called DK the last few years. He's just a really big frame buck. He hasn't really been very active on the farm. We got a couple pictures of him late in the summer, so I knew he was still alive. But over the last month, I mean, he's only been on camera a handful of times on the edge of the farm, so I don't feel like the odds of catching up with him are very high. Also, you know, Kelsey's a year older and has been super active on the farm, so I've been staying after Kelsey, but I'd love to lay eyes on DK. Unfortunately, he busted a G3 and a brow tine off in September, which is crazy, but let's sit back and enjoy the morning. Well, that's always awesome to see. That one young buck that came through in front of us is a buck I was hoping to lay eyes on. He's nice and tall, got little kickers off that right G2. So he spotted these other 2 bucks walking around the natives, and then they all kind of were posturing, and the 2 broke out in a fight. They ended up staying, you know, pushing and shoving for a bit. They got into the natives. All we could see is the grass moving. And it's the weirdest thing. A rooster pheasant flushed. The 2 deer kind of freaked out. And then the one just came right here and started blowing. Just craziness, but anyway. Fun to see. It's a little after 8 o'clock. Hopefully the action continues.
Mike Reed isn't the only team member taking advantage of the wind change. 20 miles to the northwest, Kaleb Greiner is back in the pinch stand.
Well, it's November 6th, and it's about 10:30 in the morning. So far, it's been a really slow sit. I think we've seen about 4 does and a little buck out cruising. We did have really good news last night. We were looking at the cameras, and Hog Jr. was right in front of the stand about 10-15 yards. He came from the north and worked this vine scrape right over my right shoulder and went back into the south. Later that night, we got pictures of him going back to the north. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this earlier, but when pheasant season opened, that night was the first night we got pictures of him. Now, I knew this deer summered to the north. So, with that being his home range, I'm guessing he's probably up there right now. Got a south-southwest wind, and it's gonna change into the northwest, which is perfect for this afternoon. As long as there's any west at this stand at the pinch, we're really in the chips for a good hunt. But we did hear a few gunshots to the north. I assume people are probably pheasant hunting up there again today. I was joking with Jacob, they might end up pushing that deer back down to us today, so you never know, we'll see. I've gotten a lot of really good midday movement here in the past, so I'm interested to see what today has in store. Jacob and I are gonna be doing an all-day sit. I'm pretty excited about it, but November 6th sure is a beautiful day already, so we'll see what it has in store.
While Kaleb watches the young buck work his vine scrape, back on the river farm, Mike Reed's buck tally continues to tick higher.
I think that's 8 different bucks, I'm not sure. breeding her right now. He's breeding her right now. Well, that's not something you see every day. What an awesome encounter. Ended up having the turn-in 10. What I think happens, that turn-in 10 probably had that doe back in the peninsula, and then we just had those two younger bucks that fought over here. You know, they went back in there. Next thing you know, they all come running out. I think that turn-in 10 was trying to fight off the bucks, and that young 9 managed to breed the doe right here under us at 15 yards. And then the turn-in 10 came and pushed him away, and you know, they talk about how twins or triplets could be sired by different fathers, and there you go, that's how it happens. So that's two bucks that have been on the far south side of the farm along the river that we've been filming. The turn-in 10 last night, right before we saw Kelsey, and then this big browed 8-point with the flyer. Anytime you get a hot doe come under you, it can lead to constant action all day. I mean, any bucks that are cruising through that peninsula and get on that trail should just follow it straight right here, right under the stand. So we're gonna sit as long as we can. Hopefully Kelsey's the next one to come by. It's about noon, and we just had that Daggers buck come by. Super mature deer. It's our third encounter with him. I've decided we're gonna pack up and make the switch back to where we were last night. With the north wind, we're gonna get on the other field edge and hunt that little funnel through the timber. So we're gonna get down, go hang that set. I just think that's our best chance at catching up with Kelsey. As much fun as we're having right here. I mean, 15 plus bucks, breeding, fighting. I mean, if we didn't see another deer throughout the rest of the day, it'd be one of the best hunts I've ever had. So real happy with the day so far, but we're gonna get down and make the switch. So we'll see you guys the other set.
Following the morning's action, a hunt that Mike considers to be his best ever, the afternoon tapers off. Making the stand switch, his evening produces a few more deer encounters, but no mature bucks. Kaleb's first all-day sit produced one of his slowest hunts of the season, and Owen Reigler's latest attempt at seeing his nemesis Wolverine peaks with a close-range encounter with a bobcat. The only mature buck encounter of the evening occurs under the cover of darkness when Kaleb sees Hog Jr. locked down with a doe to the north, right where he expected him to be. The following day, November 7th, arrives. One that many consider to be the best day of the season, Owen Reigler makes his next move on Wolverine. Stacking his chips on the stand he called his shot on during the offseason, Owen dives into one of the best spots on the farm.
Well, here it is, just breaking daylight on November 7th. We've already seen 2 bucks, or one came through chasing a doe, and then we just had this tall 8-point come through. I think it's gonna get woolly this morning. Perfect time of year, it's like 33 degrees. We got a northeast wind carrying back this direction. We're in one of these funnels I always talk about, you know, during the rut. We're in a little creek corridor right here with a crossing, a little farm crossing right there, so hopefully with any luck we see one of our shooters. We're after that dad's buck preferably, so we'll see what happens this morning.
That same morning, Mike Reed is also on stand, keying in on a similar spot as Owen, hoping to catch a cruising buck.
It's November 7th. Ryan and I are back down on the river bottom farm. It's a beautiful morning. We're in the same tree that I shot my buck out of on October 6th, on the south side of this central timber. There's always a lot of activity right here. It's a big doe bedding area, so a lot of bucks cruising through it. It's thick on the ground level, but you know, we get up in a tree like this, we can see all the way across it, so it makes for a good situation. It's low 30s, heavy frost. We got a north wind that's kind of, it was northwest yesterday evening, and it's just slowly switching to northeast. Right now it's pretty much straight north. It's really light, so I came in here, you know, noticing that it was light wind and counting on the thermals with this high pressure sunny day. We had a real show from the turkeys this morning. We got in the tree, we had 16 toms roosted on either side of us. They all pitched down right in front of us at 40 yards, strutting and making all kinds of racket. It was pretty cool. Never seen anything quite like that before. It's an awesome day to be in the woods, so we're gonna put our time in, hoping to cross paths with Kelsey this morning.
Back in southern Iowa, Owen's rut action is picking up.
Oh, burn dog. Lost your girl. is on, baby. And that's hilarious. You see that buck over there licking his chops. He's like, come on over here, baby. Look at the hindquarters on that one. I would say the stand site is money. They've been just piling right past us here, so we just gotta get the right deer. Come on, baby. This way. Yeah.
Yeah.
4 years. I cannot believe that. 4 years of hunting that buck. It was gonna take a stroke of luck, but hey, we put ourselves in the spot. I was hoping he'd turn and come this way and give me a chip shot, but he was out there just about 40. Oh, that's unbelievable. We're just sitting here. Actually, I was texting some business. I had some business I had to take care of in the pool business. And Devin looked up and he goes, hey, there's a big buck coming in, and it's Wolverine of all bucks. And gosh, I can't believe that happened. Like I said, 4 years. I think we've seen him 3 times in that 4 seasons. Never have gotten a shot at him. And he just gave me a 40-yarder right there, and I think we're in pretty decent. Whew. Of all the deer I wanted to kill this year, that would be the one right there. I'm still shaking. My legs are shaking on that.
While Owen and Devin return to the house, waiting on friends to take up the blood trail, Mike Reed is still on stand, waiting for his opportunity.
It's encounter number 4. Yes, sir.
Daggers? Look like a big body. It's daggers. That's an all-out brawl right there.
It's a 2-minute fight.
That is an all-out brawl right there.
Well, it's about 11:30 now, and it's been a fantastic morning. We're somewhere between 15 and 20 bucks on the morning. And we had that big mature Daggers buck come through. And then at 11 o'clock I looked up and I could see that turn-in 10 buck coming through the bedding area in front of us, and he bedded down. And then probably 10 minutes later he stood up and an all-out brawl broke out between him and that Daggers buck. I mean, they went at it for a solid 2 minutes. Daggers flipped him over 2 or 3 times and finally ran him off, but it's pretty remarkable for 11 o'clock in the morning. But I'm still tossing around in my head what to do for this afternoon. We may just sit it out right here, but fun morning nonetheless.
Following Mike's awesome morning, back in southern Iowa, Owen Reigler begins the long-awaited track job.
All right, guys, we went and reviewed the footage. I seen the shot was back just a little bit. It looked like back along his liver area, so we gave him a little while. We're back here where I shot him, so we're gonna take up the trail and hopefully we'll put an end to the saga of this Wolverine buck. He's been tough, so I'm hoping he's at the end of the trail. I'll warn you guys in advance, I've been pretty emotional, losing my dad, and then I shot this buck. It's the first buck I shot since my dad's been gone, and I've never killed a deer where I couldn't call him, so it's been hitting me pretty hard, so I'll do the best I can, but I'll just warn you up front. So let's take the trail up. The site of impact was right in here. And we've seen him go up this road here a little ways, so we'll just see if we can pick up blood right here. Here we go. Take this trail up and... Oh my gosh! How many times did I walk past him? Oh yeah, he didn't go, heck, a minute or two. He's been there. He's stiff already. Worst seasons I've been after him. Looks like he broke this brow off. I don't know, that might be his best rack. I think I've got 4 years of sheds off him. I can't believe he was laying right there. That's awesome. That's a fitting deer to take first year after losing my dad right there. That deer means a lot to me, just like Dad did, so that's pretty awesome.
Well, I'm still kind of laughing about that recovery. I expected him to go a little bit farther, and we're scouring looking for blood, and he was right there, right in front of us. He only went maybe 70 yards, so that was pretty funny. Talk about history with the deer. This is probably the most history I've got with any deer I've hunted. I've got his sheds going clear back to 3.5, 4.5, all the way up to 7.5 on his sheds, and then here he is at 8.5 years old. So I'd say this is probably his best rack, or at least right there with his best, which was at 6.5. All the years I hunted him, so this will be the 4th season of hunting him. This is only the 3rd encounter I've had with him. Outside of that, he's just been so elusive. All the time I hunted him, he would never, didn't matter what weather you had, he would never walk onto a food source in an evening like almost every other big buck, mature buck would do if you had the right weather and the snow. And so I was telling Devin the other day, I said, it's just gonna take a stroke of luck with this deer. We're just gonna have to be in the right spot at the right time, and we didn't even know he was around, and we just happened to be hunting one of those little funnel spots like we talk about for this time of year, and lo and behold, it worked out. So couldn't be happier with this deer. This was my #1 target, so I don't know where we go from here. That wide 9 would be that'd make me pretty happy too. And then we got Dad's buck that I would really love to shoot that buck with Dad's gun, so we're still gonna be after him.
November 7th's action didn't stop with Owen Reigler's celebration. Back in eastern Iowa, Mike Reed has an amazing evening hunt.
He's walking to the right. Kelsey's going that close to the spot he got whipped. Well, it's about 3:15, and as you can see, we elected to just stay and sit the rest of the afternoon out. It's hard to beat this spot. I mean, being right on the edge of this big bedding, we've got good wind, and it's just non-stop deer action all day. Just had the turn-in 10. You know, he got in that fight with daggers about 11:30. Cool to see him again, up close and personal. If Kelsey's up on his feet, cruising like a lot of these other bucks, I think this is one of the best spots to at least lay eyes on him. You know, part of me worries that he's locked down with a doe, knowing that their doe's obviously coming into heat here, seeing the breeding yesterday. But hopefully Kelsey strolls by in the next couple hours. What an incredible day in the woods. I think we ended up seeing every buck except Kelsey today. He may be with a doe. I think it's just a matter of, you know, putting our time in the stand. I'm not sure where we're gonna sit tomorrow, but we'll catch up with you guys then.
We did have really good news last night. Hog Jr. was right in front of the stand about 10, 15 yards. He came from the north and worked this vine scrape right over my right shoulder. You never know, we'll see. I've gotten a lot of really good midday movement here in the past, so I'm interested to see what today has in store.
As much fun as we're having right here, I mean, 15 plus bucks, breeding, fighting. I mean, if we didn't see another deer throughout the rest of the day, it'd be one of the best hunts I've ever had. So real happy with the day so far.
I can't believe that happened. Like I said, 4 years. I think we've seen him 3 times in that 4 seasons. Of all the deer I wanted to kill this year, that would be the one right there. I'm still shaking. My legs are shaking on that.
Sweet November is an expression that rings true each and every season for bow hunters lucky enough to hit the woods during the annual rut. A small window of time when even the most weary of bucks make mistakes. The moment can come at any second. Just ask Owen Reigler, who spent the past 4 seasons hunting a ghost. Having only seen the buck a total of 3 times over that span, his calculated move all the way back in the off-season paid off big. A stand location with great morning access, tucked in between doe bedding areas, proved to be the equalizer, closing the hunt for the toughest buck he's ever hunted. Moving forward, the hunting we experience will be feast or famine as the number of does and estrus continues to climb each day. Not phased, we will continue to be there, welcoming each day, thankful for another opportunity to dream big. We are living it now. We are chasing November.